There's a big weekend of World Triathlon racing coming up on Triathlon Live as the 2023 World Cup circuit gets underway in New Plymouth on Sunday morning local time, late Saturday in Europe and the US, with none other than Gwen Jorgensen back on a World Cup start for the first time since her win there in a momentous 2016 season. We have the Europe Triathlon Cup Quartera with the likes of Gustav, Iden, Johnny Brownlee and Cassandra Bogrund towing the lines, and the Winter Triathlon World Championships from Norway on Saturday from 10 a.m. local time. Non-subscribers can watch Quartera and the Winter Worlds for free. Thanks as always for all your emails. It is congratulations to Sean McCulloch, who wins episode 72's prize of a year's subscription to Triathlon Live just in time for the New Plymouth races. This episode's question is, which Italian won the last New Plymouth World Cup back in 2019? Just email your answer to podcast@triathlon.org and a year's subscription could be yours. Now, on with the pod. Today on the World Triathlon podcast, we preview the 2023 World Triathlon Winter Championships being held in Skeikampen, Norway, this weekend in the company of the champion 2 years ago, Christian Tungesvik. Hans may have only hit the Winter Multisport World in 2021, winning silver in Norway's National Winter Triathlon Champs before going on to win gold in the World Champs Andorra at his first attempt. But over the next 40 minutes or so, we will hear how his story goes much further back into some of the most demanding races the triathlon world has ever come up with, and includes smashing a 35-year-old world record in the saddle, and why we should all be adding krill to our diets. Hans' Winter World title defence last year may have been wrecked by a flat tyre, but he will hit the start line on Saturday with the added bonus of a home crowd right behind him. So Hans, welcome to the podcast. How are you and where are you?
Thanks a lot, Doug. I am very well. I'm in my apartment in Oslo now, trying to gather some energy and the rest before the action kicks off at Skeikampen this weekend.
Skeikampen. Okay, so my pronunciation was pretty far off.
It wasn't too bad, but it's Skei to begin with instead of ski. Skeikampen.
Okay, so there's barely a K to a silent K. That's a new one on me there.
Yes.
Good. So trying to find some energy. How have preparations been going for the weekend?
Well, in the beginning of the year, they were really challenging. I ran a marathon in Valencia beginning of December and caught COVID coming home from that. So basically, throughout all of December and January was I was feeling really, really terrible. Basically, getting through a day at work was more than enough. So towards the end of January, I was a bit pessimistic, to be honest, about my ability to find any shape for both the national champs here in Norway and also the world champs. But since that, things have been going steadily in the right direction. So I think I'm actually quite well prepared and feeling good and ready, actually.
Great. It's a major worry for an endurance athlete, what it can do, the long-lasting effects, obviously, and just the kind of unknown, the way it can affect very differently different people, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And one thing is the period where you're actually sick. In my experience, that hasn't been really any worse than a normal cold, but the risk of having these long-term effects and the real need to be very, very patient in the beginning, I think that's something that's has caught quite a lot of athletes by surprise, and it really throws another aspect into the mix of high performance sports, basically, because it hits every one of us at some point or another. So one more joker card in the mix to spice things up. But I've been fortunate now. After starting to getting better, things have gone in the right direction. So I think just patience and wait. Don't push the body before it feels ready to be pushed. That's the main takeaway for me, at least.
But it's feeling ready to be pushed now. Are you hitting the kind of numbers that you would want to be hitting, pre-COVID?
I do. I feel good. So I know lots of other people have prepared well as well. So, but I hope I can be in contention to to fight for some medals comes Saturday and Sunday and Friday. Yeah.
Yeah. So, the more I've been reading about you, the more interesting this this interview has become. I think it's so obviously you came into the Winter Triathlon in 21, like I said, with the Norway champs and the silver, and a gold at your first attempt at the world champs, beating people like Pavel Andreev, who I think he's a 7-time world champ, right? So you've kind of to some extent come out of nowhere. Obviously not with a rich history in the sport over many distances. So let's start with you coming into the winter sport in the first place and how that came about.
Winter sports has been my main focus during my youth. Growing up in Norway, that's not unusual, but I did did cross-country skiing competitively until I was 20 years old. So that was basically what I did during my upraising, and spent quite some times and weekends during the winter trying to become a good skier. But there are lots of people doing that in Norway. So when I didn't really reach the top level where the national teams and World Cup competitions and so forth would be relevant or accomplishable. So I headed into the military, started studying, and then during my studies I realized or discovered triathlon. So I tried it. I was horrible in swimming, but bike and run was quite okay, given that I had been a cross-country skier. Mm-hmm. But I really found this joy and feeling of accomplishment of doing 3 different sports in one. So one thing led to another. After a couple of years, I discovered that I kind of had some talent for this really long events within triathlon, and slowly but steadily my swim also improved. So after 4 years, I decided to go pro and do this professionally. Was summer triathlon for now. And that was fun, lots of great experiences, some good results also. But as expected, the swim was always the biggest struggle for me. And as I didn't do any swimming while I was young, I didn't really have that feeling of the water and the technique that's required to really perform and compete with the best. So when I then in the 2021 discovered this winter triathlon, where I could actually switch my weakest leg, which was the swim, for cross country skiing, which was basically probably my strongest leg. That was very tempting. So I signed up for the Norwegian champs. Terrible bike conditions. So I think most people except Iden Bjerkset, who has been in the game for quite some years and is an avid mountain bike cyclist. He has the technique. He was able to bike throughout the leg, but most others were basically running more than they were cycling that day. So he beat me by quite some time, but it was a good first test, and then I understood that I should be able to contend in some way in the world champs, but going all the way was an insane experience and very, very surprising.
So the actual sort of discovery moment of winter triathlon as a thing, then how did that? Obviously, so this weekend, we're showing it on Triathlon Live. It's going to be broadcast on the Norwegian national TV channel as well, right? Both the elite men, the triathlon races. But in a land of cross-country skiing being obviously quite a dominant sport as well, and winter sport in general, the profile of it obviously isn't quite there that you knew of its existence beforehand anyway.
Yeah, that's true. I think I came about it through a friend, or I saw. I actually don't really remember specifically where I heard about it or read about it, but But in some way or another, I discovered this thing. I had heard about it some years before also, but then I was very, very focused on summer triathlon and spending all winter trying to improve my swim, bike, and run. So, but after some years, I thought I want and miss some competitions during the winter as well. And then discovering this, that was kind of the perfect match. Still being able to improve as a triathlete in general, and having some training goals and also proper competition goals during the winter as well.
How was that sort of reception in Andorra for that? Coming in as a bit of an outsider and a bit of a unknown quantity, presumably. There are some very established athletes on that men's start line, and your Lemastras and your Andreevs kind of presumably would have, I don't know, maybe done a bit of research, known your triathlon pedigree, but not necessarily know of you too much.
No, it's true. For me, I think it could have actually been a positive thing that I didn't really know these guys, because I didn't have that feeling of them being unbeatable, because I didn't really know what had happened before. The only thing I basically know was that Pavlander was the king and had won 7 or 8 times in a row. So I assumed that he was not within reach, and the rest of the field I didn't really know. So I went out there and tried to put together a good performance, and the run went quite okay. It was quite challenging being on 2,000 meters above sea level, so the altitude also played an important role here. But so I went out quite conservatively, trying to just build my way through the ranks on the run. So I think I was 5th into team 1, and me not being a very good technical bike rider, I unfortunately tackled one of the Spanish guys. Tackled him and myself in the beginning of the bike, so we were both quite far off the course already after, I think it was 500 meters or so. So a bad start to the swim out to the bike leg, but I got back on the bike and gradually just tried to work my way through the field again. And I was in a good shape. I knew that I was in a good shape, so that was definitely a benefit. But I didn't really know what it was, so I just ran and I biked, and I didn't really think about who I was with in the packs and where I was at. Basically, just trying to put together a good race. And then when coming into T2, I think I was around 10th, but I didn't really know where I was at in the race. But
I get the same level of sort of knowledge and know-how out there on the course of where everyone is, right?
Exactly, and it's quite chaotic, because we were like 40-50 guys on the start line, so lots of people everywhere and people overtaking each other. So difficult to really know or have the perspective. But I went out on the bike, on the cross country leg, and really felt that, wow, this is a good day. And compared to the others, that was the first time I really realized my strength or my benefit from having done cross country competitively for many years. So I overtook quite some people, including Pavel Andreev, and I understood that, okay, if I overtook him now, this should be quite good. And then suddenly there weren't any more people to overtake, and I was like, am I in the lead now? I wasn't really sure, but got it confirmed from one of my coaches before the last lap, and then it was just an amazing experience, being able to enjoy the last lap in those surroundings at 2,000 meters above sea level, with the sun and the Pyrenees in the background. That was just, I actually had the opportunity to take it all in and really enjoy it. So that was an amazing experience.
Yeah. The Mario Mola of Winter Triathlon.
I'll take that comparison. I'll do that.
And that that first Andorra 2021 was before, so the new format with repeating the 3 disciplines a whole nother time.
Yes.
That one wasn't, was it, in 2021?
That's correct. So that was only run, bike, ski once.
So now for the crowds there, for TV, for so on, just so people listening know, it's going to be run, bike, ski. Does that give you more of a challenge, splitting up your preferred leg into 2 slots, I guess, have an impact on your potential to use that secret weapon, could it?
Not so secret. Yeah, definitely. Not so secret, that's true. But definitely, it's you by having a ski leg, which is 10K or 12K straight, you really, I felt that I really had the possibility to do some damage, really pick quite a lot of seconds or even minutes on my competitors. But when it's only 5-6 kilometers, it's you don't have the same ability. But that basically goes for everyone who has one strong leg, or so. It evens out, and it makes the whole competition more exciting to watch, and also more exciting to race. So I think it's cool. I don't mind it, but for me, thinking about myself and my benefits, I think I would benefit more from having just once per leg.
And you grew up just on the outskirts of Oslo, right? So is this an area that you know well? Is it a famous sort of skiing or cross-country skiing part of Norway? Are you familiar with the territory up there, or have you at least been up a couple of times for a recce?
Yeah, well, Skeikampen, where the venue is about 3 hours outside of Oslo. So it's not a place that I usually go for skiing. And normally here in Oslo, we are very fortunate. We have loads of skiing tracks just basically 10 minutes from the city center. So that's quite unique. But we have been up there at the venue. We had the national champs there, so we tested racing there, and also had one national camp with the team 3 weeks ago up there. So we are quite familiar with the courses and with the place, and hopefully that will give us kind of a home ground benefit this weekend.
Yeah, and conditions look all right. I mean, it doesn't look like it's going to be too windy. The snow looks good, but it's not going to come down too much in the next few days, by the looks.
Yeah, I think it looks quite all right. It's not for me as not the best technical biker. My worst nightmare would be loads of snow and quite warm conditions, and looks like we're avoiding that. But it's gonna be just below 0 temperature, so I think the snow is going to be quite firm and quite good, and not too much wind. It's quite normally it's quite a windy place, so it's just pleasant for both us and the spectators that it's not going to be too much wind.
A significant number of Norwegians on the start list, some kind of new to the sport as well. Will there be a few more that are coming from a very cross-country skiing background that could also kind of take a few people by surprise, perhaps not so much yourself, but like I said, it's being broadcast on national Norwegian telly. Will that, do you think that will do a lot to kind of broaden its horizons there as well? And it is cross-country skiing, for example, something that gets a lot of airtime. Is it something of a national sport? Is there a route through, and this event could kind of really give it a bit of a boost?
Cross-country skiing is basically the only thing, or one of the few things that's aired throughout all weekends throughout the winter here in Norway. So there are an incredible amount of people actually having cross-country skiing as their full-time job. Even if you place 40, 50, 60 in the national champs, there are people who have this as their main job. So the level and the width of the field within cross-country skiing is huge, and this also has some impact on people kind of seeing an opportunity here to compete in world champs in a different sport. So there will definitely be some some new names to the world triathlon community that will be up there. For instance, we had one debutant in the Norwegian champs who finished second. That turned out well for me 2 years ago, so maybe we have a repetition of that this year. And there's also one for the duathlon. There was one ski orienteer. So they do orienteering with maps
Right.
on skis during the winter. So then obviously do lots of running throughout the summer and skiing throughout the winter. So it's gonna be dangerous also on the duathlon. So definitely expecting some new names to be up there and fight for the medals.
Now your past as a triathlete as well. I think you were maybe being a bit modest when you're talking about your swim. I mean, so Norseman champion 2019. That's correct.
Yeah.
An Ironman champion as well. So your swim can't be too shabby. But tell us a bit about your journey into the Norseman world as well. Again, for those that don't know, it's kind of considered one of the most challenging triathlons on the planet, right? Has it been something that you'd always fancied having a crack at?
Yes, definitely. My parents have a cabin up in the mountains, a couple of hours here from Oslo, and that's the area where the Norseman finishes. So 10-15 years ago, basically, probably was the first time I saw these maniacs climbing towards Gaustatoppen, or Mount Gaustad as it's called here, close to this cabin. And I was like, what is this? What are they doing? And someone explained to me that they basically started on the other side of the country, on the west coast, dived into the fjord from this ferry, swam 4 kilometers, biked 180k over the mountain plateau, and then now they have been running 25k flat, and then have 7k only uphill up to this mountaintop. And first time I heard about it, I was like, what is that even possible? These people are crazy. But it also kind of lit a curiosity in me, and an interest to someday, sometime, try to finish this thing. This was before I even tried triathlon. This was when I did cross country skiing, and so that was kind of the first little hint of interest for Norseman, and I've been kind of following it more tighter and tighter ever since. And that was kind of a dream in the back of my mind when I went into triathlon. That okay, I want to come up at a level where I can finish and kind of compete for top spots. And it's really difficult to qualify for, or to get a slot there, because there are so many. It's a lottery, basically. You need to be lucky, and there's so many applicants these years. 5,000 applicants and 300 slots. So
wow.
You really need your luck on your side.
Yeah.
But I had 2016. I had a summer internship in a company that was the main sponsor of the event. So I got a slot through them, and got to try it for the first time. So, and then I finished 11th. The first year was an amazing, humbling experience. But it really proved to myself, at least, that okay, if I give it a couple of more years, I can really compete here and fight for top spots. So did it once more the next year, 6th place then, and then took one year off, and then really decided that 2019, when it was also gonna be the first ever world championships in extreme triathlon, or the X-Tri series as it's called. Then I decided, okay, this year, this is my year, or this is the year that the only day that matters is the 3rd of August and the Norseman Day. So I basically planned the whole season for that one day, and yeah, turned out really, really good.
And they're really good. It was an incredible finish as well, wasn't it, with Alan Holder? Yeah, talk us through that final kind of the final stages, because you were reeling him in for a while, but it was left quite late, no?
Yeah, it was. It ended up being a very, very spectacular race. We swam together basically, so we were equal into T1. I biked a bit better than him, so I was leading by 3 minutes into T2. I knew he had won the race 3 times before. He was the definite favorite before we started. And I knew he was also a very, very good runner, so I kind of expected him to reel me in, and he did after 15K. So, and the course, the run course of Norseman is 25K flat, and then it goes just last 17K rises 1,600 meters of altitude. So basically only uphill. So he reeled me in after 15K, got 2-3 minutes on me before we started the hill, and then during the hill, it takes about 2 hours. We just kept the distance constant all the way. I tried really to push as hard as I can. Didn't get any positive nor negative feedback on the distance up to here. So yeah, I kept on pushing, but I kind of understood that okay, it's gotta be second place today, and I was very happy about that. I think it was when we had 5 minutes left until the finish line. I said to my support team, which was my brother and a friend, that okay, second place, that's also good in Norseman. We have to be happy about that. And then it took like 30 seconds, and then I looked up at the mountain and I was like, is that the suit? Is that Alon? He looks really tired, and he was completely smashed. Yeah, muscles, I don't know, a bit too little nutrition, or he was basically crawling. It's quite steep, so
right.
Not too unnatural, but he was basically like using his hands crawling. And I was like, yeah, it was. I had one devil here saying that you don't want to sprint now after a 10-hour race. That's no way we do that. And the other one saying, okay, this is your one chance to actually win Northland. Luckily, that side won, and the adrenaline started pumping, and I was like, yeah, total autopilot mode. Dug deeper and sprinted as fast as I could, and overtook him with 150 meters to go to the finish line in a 10-hour race. So that was that was an extreme experience, and just pure joy and happiness when I crossed the finish line.
The feeling after that and for him, I mean, I've read something that he wrote after, like his magnanimous kind of position after, and just been very delighted for you in amongst what must have been sort of crushing disappointment with 150 meters to go for him. Was, I guess it says quite a lot, does it, about the sort of strange camaraderie. It's such an individual sport. You're all doing crazy things, presumably in your own heads, going through that. But that sort of sense of shared achievement and pain brings its own kind of uniting force, does it?
Yeah, it does. And in a race like that, where you're really fighting the elements and the course, maybe more than each other, it's a very strong camaraderie, as you say, between the athletes, and that also made it even more special for me when basically the king of Norseman or the big time favorite says that even on his best day, I was able to beat him, and he congratulated me. That made the whole experience just even better. So that was the definite highlight of my career so far. We can say that.
And did you go to sort of darker places in the Norsemen than in any other race? Have you done the Swissman as well? How do they sort of stack up? What is your what's your kind of go-to, your internal monologue, if you will, when you're, finding those moments that you need to spur yourself on when the chips are down?
Yeah, well, they are both races are quite similar in kind of profile and how tough they are on paper, but the level of competition is definitely quite a lot higher in Norseman. So to be able to compete there, and there I really need to prepare to dig as deep as I can to perform. In Swissman this year, the field isn't that wide nor that tough competition, and so in that regard, and also my mindset when going into Swissman was more the experience and the views and the mountains, and just to be able to take it all in. And as I had quite a good lead for most of the race, I was really able to kind of push at the level where it was, yes, I was tired, but it was also manageable, and I had energy to soak it all in. So I wasn't in dark places in the same way there as in Norseman, because after having done Norseman for some time, for 4 times now, it's not really anymore about taking all the views in, because I've seen them quite sometimes, both in training and racing. So now I am there to perform, and so yeah, digging deep and fighting for position is the only aspect of it for me now.
Yeah, so your kind of, your pro career owes a lot to the natural environment that you're taking in as you're racing. Is that, how does, obviously, like, the sustainability of races and the impact that they have on the environment is hugely important now. Is it something that you are, would you consider yourself an activist in any way? Is it something that you sort of hold dearly important in a way of, I guess, giving back to what, is providing you so much pleasure? And how is that within Norway in itself, in a country of such sort of natural beauty and so on? Where does this sort of climate crisis kind of come into things?
Yeah, it's a good, very valid question. I don't see myself as an activist in any way, but I really appreciate the opportunities and the experiences the nature has to offer here in Norway, also both summer as winter. And of course, with the development we're seeing in the world, we are definitely experiencing that winters are getting shorter. We we have to create artificial snow, instead of only having natural snow. So, and that's a huge pity from my standpoint. And I would be I've been fortunate to be upraised in a country and in a time where we had all possibilities to go out and play and do skiing throughout the whole winter. But I really hope my children and generations after will have the same possibility. So in that respect, I try to contribute as good as I can to activities and things that preserve the climate and the world, mostly because it gives me so much personal pleasure and joy, and experiencing the environment is one of the key motivations for me for doing sports, triathlon, skiing, everything.
But yeah, so Skeikampen is going to provide a pretty stunning setting for the racing. Then it's going to be a bit of a treat for those watching, is it?
Definitely, and I think it's going to be quite kind of a difference from what we experienced in Andorra the 2 previous years in regards to snow conditions. Skeikampen is a very snow safe place, even late March, as the previous 2 years has been kind of uncertain if we would have proper skiing conditions and full snow coverage in the whole course. So no need to worry about that, at least now. And beautiful Norwegian surroundings up in that area.
It's pretty flat out, presumably for what will be somewhere in the region of an hour and a quarter, hour and a half. Or not
I
even.
think it's gonna be probably hour and a half, maybe 1:45. It's gonna take some. The courses there are quite tough. Lots of hills, both compared to Andorra at least. The run is significantly tougher. So yeah, probably a bit over 1.5 hours.
You're doing both, right? You're doing the duathlon and the triathlon, well, and the 2x2, 3-day.
Yeah, hopefully I qualify for the 2x2 also. So it's gonna be a 3-day tough weekend, but it's gonna be fun. And as you say, it's a whole different story regarding intensity compared to Norseman, and the fact that you at the different legs being cut in two, all of them also, they are so short. It makes you, it fools you a little bit, because you always only think until the next transition, and that's quite short. So I think one key will also be to be a bit patient and not rush it too much in the first round of a triathlon.
Yeah, it was you and Elizabeth Sveum, right, in 2021 and 22.
Yes.
Was that your first taste of that style of the mixed relay? It's obviously not like the summer when it's 4 athletes. It's 2, and you do the whole thing twice. Yeah, quite a different and a nice addition to the repertoire there, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it's a really cool event. Both the fact that you're a team instead of only individual. We are normally individuals, all of us, so being able to compete as a team is super fun, and the level of action and intensity, as the legs are so short, is it's super hard, but it's also super fun, and cool to experience how much adrenaline and energy you get from being head to head in those close battles, both, and things can really be decided in the transitions, and it's stressful but really hectic and really fun.
I mentioned krill briefly in the intro, just talking about like recovery and so on, and you're obviously someone that gets a kick out of the creative side of it, the innovation side of triathlon as well, which we've seen a huge amount from Gustav, Iden, and Christian Blummenfelt on the other side as well. Like, yeah, would be wrong not to mention them at some point here, and what they've kind of done for the profile of the sport. How well, let's talk about the krill side of things first. I mean, that was just something in terms of like the benefits of that, like the omega oils and that kind of diet, right, to help in recovery. But yeah, is that something that you fully dial into, and as far as those small kind of boosts and advantages that you can get, it's always worth investigating any options, is it?
Yeah, definitely. I more so when I was a full-time triathlete. Then it was basically really, it was my job, and not only the training was my job, but the nutrition and the rest. And I kind of enjoyed really diving into all aspects of the 24-hour athlete, as we call it in Norway. Probably not to the extent of Gustav and Christian Blummenfelt. I won't take credit for that, but I really tried to optimize in any way possible. In addition to I found quite a lot of inspiration and motivation in trying to build partnerships. Of course, I needed sponsors as well to support that lifestyle. So and being kind of a business, having a business interest at least, now having gone into business consulting as my full-time job. So I've always had that interest, and that partnership with Aker BioMarine then, which are making the krill supplements, was also a good combination of an ability to learn some aspects from the business side of things, and also incorporate a good supplementary diet into what I eat and how I live my athlete life, basically. Yeah.
And that, you're part of a huge triathlon multi-sport movement within Norway at the moment. Do you feel, that the impact of Kristian and Gustav has made a phenomenal difference, or is, they in previous interviews we've done with them, they've sort of talked down how their sort of profile has changed, and maybe it's just within the sort of triathlon bubble that they're seen as superstars. But it's an Olympic gold medal, a first one in a sport. It must have had a big impact there, hasn't it?
Definitely, no, it's been a huge change. The fact in Norway before them, or before they really started to deliver incredible results, triathlon in Norway has basically been the 40 plus dads who have had enough money to spend on equipment, and kids moved out enough time to realize themselves, and going for these extreme things, Norseman, Ironman, to get them ticked off the box. And there weren't basically any clubs in Norway, nowhere for young triathletes to be triathletes from the beginning. There was only people who did cross-country skiing or cycling or running in their youth. They were in a good shape. And then when they reached 30, 40, they wanted to try triathlon, basically as me. But now after with Kristian and Gustav's success, the youngsters begin triathlon as their main sport from a young age, and that has a huge impact and will have in the years to come for the recruitment in Norway. And so from my perspective, it looks very, very promising for the future of triathlon in Norway. With them on that level now, imagine what can potentially happen in 5, 10, 15 years when these people who follow this path, even from 10 years instead of 15 as they did, it'll be interesting to follow.
And in a similar way, the things that the likes of yourself and Sandra Mayhofer are going to be doing for Winter Triathlon, and the profile of that is brilliantly important. And obviously there's huge ambition for the sport within Winter Olympic programs, and the take-up of different nations in that department is obviously all important to making that kind of happen. So, yeah, great to see what you've been able to do over the last couple of years, and to see what the future holds, and particularly this weekend, and certainly encourage everyone to watch it. It was last year, I think, that Felix Duchamp, the Romanian summer triathlon, and Kristian Tungesvik from France, and there's a lot of triathletes that use the off season to do their skiing, and whether it's a Chonga Lehmann or I'm from Germany, you could see them. So I guess maybe this is you're pioneering a bit more of an overlap here as well, and showing what can be done. It's an exciting future for the sport, you think?
Yeah, definitely. And I think especially this development in Norway with Kristian and Gustav is we are trying to kind of latch onto that train and experience the same development as triathlon in general does in Norway. I think also from my perspective, it's just being able to showcase the ability for triathletes living in Northern Europe, what fantastic sport cross-country is to do as a recreational or a good basis exercise during winter. And when they realize that, it's a very short way to transition into actually being on the start line in the Winter Tri World Champs. So hopefully we can contribute to raising the sport to a new level. Now with the championship in Norway, we are broadcasting it on national television on Saturday, and hopefully lots of people will come and watch at the venue as well. It's going to be super exciting.
Great. Well, I need to go and pack. Got an early flight in the morning. Look forward to seeing you out there. And beyond this weekend, what's the rest of the year hold in store? What are you sticking your flag in? Will there be a Norseman appearance? Will there be a Nice appearance? What's on the cards for you that later?
For now, it's only Challenge Roth on the menu for me. This year, I've decided to hand on my Norseman slot to my fiance, and me. Exactly. And we're getting married the weekend after, so
congratulations!
I will need to take care of the planning activities.
Plenty of krill on the menu in the warm up for that.
Yeah, exactly.
For the big day. Brilliant. Well, thanks ever so much, Hans. Been great to talk to you. Good luck at the weekend. I would certainly say to everyone, tune in Triathlon Live Saturday, 10 a.m. Central European time, and watch the action.
Perfect. Thanks for having me. See you up there.
Cheers. Bye.